All right, hi everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Raven's Escape Crafts channel. We are on day 2 of the hat because it is still raining here in Pennsylvania. And it's still miserable and I'm cold. I'm freezing today. I don't know. It's so damp in the house. So I got my sweatshirt and a blanket. It's ridiculous. So I'm wearing this fun sun hat because I can't deal with it. But welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you are coming back, welcome back. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you're having a great Thursday so far. Hold on. I'm a little late today. The kids, it's almost, and our school year is still not over yet. I know a lot of people's school year is over. And my kids have like so much stuff going on right now. It has been insane. So I just got a little bit late start today. Trying to keep everything together for all this stuff. But that being said, I hope you guys are having a great Thursday. If you don't know, I am Sue, your host. I am the owner and crafter of Raven's Escape Crafts. I have an online Etsy shop. If you're interested in any of my stuff, I sell these things. Like this hat's going to be available on Etsy after I wash it, so you can pick it up. And I did not get anything made yesterday. Last night was crazy. We had my son went to if you watched yesterday's video, my son went to New York and he saw Moulin Rouge, and then so we had to pick him up late, and then of course my other son, oh, you gotta love this. We will talk about it in just a minute. My other son, my younger son, on Sunday night, we're sitting here and my phone rings like unknown caller, and I'm like, oh, I'll get it. And here it's his English teacher. Like, did Michael talk to you about bringing in something for our poetry cafe on Friday? And I'm like, no. So we had to bake muffins last night because tonight both of the kids have concerts, and so there's no way to bake things tonight. So we had to bake apple cinnamon muffins last night, and then we sealed them up and we have them for ready for tomorrow morning. So it's just been crazy right here. So I did not get anything finished last night. But that's okay, right? We can just chit chat today. I'm still working on my caplet. I'm hoping to get that worked on some. I can take that with to do things. So hopefully I'll get that done tonight. I apologize for the blanket. I am freezing. It's not really cold in the house. It's like damp. It's just been so rainy and chilly for so many days. It's like damp in the house today. And I'm not turning the heat on at the end of May. It's not going to happen. It's not. I'm not doing it. I will keep blankies and sweatshirts. And my son had fingerless gloves on the other day to work on his computer because his hands were freezing. I'm like, I'm sorry. You want me to turn the heat on? He's like, no. I was like, I'll just wear my gloves. I'm like, okay. So, crafting, yarning, what's everybody doing? What's everybody working on? What kind of crafts are you guys doing right now? What are you guys keeping yourself? This weather should be outside weather, but it's more inside weather lately. So has anybody been doing anything cool? Crochet wise, craft wise? Let me know in the comments. Like I said, I'm working on this caplet. It's going to be, I have no pattern for it, and I may have to pull out this last row because it got a little, you can see it got a little fluffy, but we're gonna go with the process, and we're going to keep going on it and see if it like flattens out. I know sometimes sometimes you have to trust your process. Sometimes you're like, I know what I'm doing, right? And then other times you keep going and go, I had no clue what I was doing. So this is the caplet I'm working on. It's no pattern. It is the Lion Brand Heartland yarn. This is a 251 yard, 100% acrylic, size 4. And this is the color. Let me find it. Kobuk Valley. Kobuk Valley. So Kobuk Valley, something like that. It's a really pretty color. I mean, I absolutely love that purple. I know, shocker. Anybody that knows me knows purple is my favorite. So I'm still working on that. Hopefully I get more done on it today. I was working on it last night a little bit, but like I said, I have stuff I've been working on and stuff for school, and their school year's almost done, but now we have, like I said, today my younger son went to Valley Forge on a field trip, and then he has game club after school, and then he comes home for like 20 minutes, has to eat dinner and get changed into his concert attire and then get back out the door. Meanwhile, my other son has to be at his concert at 6 o'clock. It's going to be insane. So, or he has to be back to school at 5 o'clock for a concert at 6 o'clock. My younger son has to be back at school at 5:45 for a concert at 6:30. And now my older son is in high school, so his concert goes for like 3 hours. So we're going to hopefully watch my younger son's concert, and they're going to be playing first, the orchestra is. And then he's going to book out of there. We're going to head over to the high school so that hopefully we see my older son perform. I don't know. I mean, they did apologize for scheduling them on the same day, but it's an issue. But they have so much going on. And like I said, he's got a field trip, and then he's got game club, and then he has the concerts tonight. These kids are going to be exhausted tomorrow because as Logan walked around New York City all day yesterday, and now today he's got the concert. He has practice all day and then a concert after school. They're going to be exhausted. And my poor husband, Mr. Rivers Escape Crafts, he is so tired because he's running everywhere all the time. And then on Saturday he's DJing for an adult prom. So it's a crazy week. We will all be glad, I think, when all this craziness is over with. But it is what it is. It's always nuts at the end of the school year. It's always nuts, and that's okay, right? So we'll get through it. We always do. Working on it. It would be a little easier if, like I said, this weather. I mean, look, I'm not one. I love a rainy day. I love to listen to the rain. I love a rainy day. But this has been so many rainy days. It's like we've only had a few in the whole month of May, a few days of sun. It's really been a lot. And it's supposed to rain all weekend again. As I was hoping on Saturday, they usually have in the town close to us, they do a community yard sale. The whole town, everybody can have a yard sale. Like normally they have to get a permit. But that on the weekend after Memorial Day, I think it's the weekend after Labor Day, they open up the whole town and everybody can have a yard sale if they want to, a whole day. And I always look forward to it because there's a really cool used bookstore that I go to, and they do a yard sale every year for these two events. And they have, oh my God, they have books. It's like $1 a book, 50 cents for paperbacks, $1 for a hardcover, and thousands of books. And like I said, they're used books, but I don't care. I like books however you get them. And today they said they're canceled because the yard sale is supposed to be Saturday with the rain date of Sunday. Well, it's supposed to rain both days. So they're not going to even have it. They're like, well, good news is we'll have tons of books for September. I'm like, but what about the summer? So, and not that I've been reading a ton anyway, but I just always look forward to their book sale. I always find some new good reads there, and sucks. So, like I said, I am not one to complain too much about the weather. I mean, I love a good rainy day, but this is just like it's rain. All it does is rain. We need some sunshine. We need some happy, I mean, my plants are doing okay, but they could really use a good couple sunny days. The rain's doing them good, but um, we could really use some good sunny days to take care of, the help them grow. So is the weather? I've heard like the weather's bad, like all over the place. I heard that the weather's been really funky a lot of places, not just here in Pennsylvania. I know here it's been like crazy. But I've been watching, I told you I watch a lot of YouTube and stuff, and like people have been saying all over the place, like it's freezing here, it's unseasonably wet or cold, or it's just the weather has been crazy this year. All right, enough about the weather. Shush, shush, shush. I don't know what. Stop complaining about the weather, Sue. Stop. Okay. So in crochet world news yesterday, I wanted to congratulate. I was watching the live with Fiber Floozy. If you're in the crochet world and you don't follow her, go follow her. She hit her 4,000 subscribers yesterday, and they were celebrating. Her and Russ were celebrating. Russ did a giveaway. Russ from It's Raining Yarn. So he packed up an amazing box for the winner of the 4K when Fiber Floozy won the 4K. So if you are in the crochet world and you're not following Fiber Floozy, you got to follow Fiber Floozy. And Russ from It's Raining Yarn is only, like, I think less than 50 subscribers away from hitting his 4,000. And then Fiber Floozy is going to do a giveaway on her channel for Russ's 4,000. So anybody who's in the community, follow Russ over at It's Raining Yarn. He's only on, he does the midnight yarn crew. He does regular videos. He doesn't do too many. But he goes live almost every night unless something comes up, and he lets you know ahead of time. From like, usually it's like midnight or 12:15 until like 1:15, 1:30. And unfortunately I don't sleep much, so I'm always up. Not every night, but I either watch him that night or sometimes I watch him the next day. He does lives. And he's just a really nice, super supportive crocheter. And he's really fun to watch. He's like super supportive of everybody on his channel. He interacts with everybody. So if you're one that likes to talk and interact in lives and you're up super late and you don't have anything to do, but regardless, subscribe to him. It's Raining Yarn is his YouTube channel. And like I said, he's less than 50 people away. So if you can subscribe to him and get him there, that would be amazing. I absolutely love Russ. I'm a lurker most of the time. I like to sit and crochet and listen to everybody talk on their lives. I don't really get in the chats as much as I should. I probably should, but I like to just sit back and listen to everybody chit chat about everything. I find it interesting. So, but I was watching Fiber Floozy and Russ yesterday, and they were congratulating Fiber Floozy on her 4,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And she does a lot of cool content. So check her out. She does like a Friday night with a mystery. I haven't gotten a chance to catch that live yet, but I would like to. I don't know quite what it's about, but it sounds really interesting. So I was watching that. Who else was I watching yesterday? Well, I watched my normal like Cinnamon Stitches and Bag a Day. Crystal did a video yesterday, finally, for her Nerdy Crocheter channel. It's just been a while since she did one, but so that was nice to see that she was doing that again. She's like super busy, and I'm so happy for her. I mean, if anybody deserves it, she's like, her stuff is exploding. She has her own line of yarn out, and then she has all these amazing patterns out. So that's really cool. I just, I love watching the, sorry if you hear my phone ring in the background. I'm not answering that. I love watching the crochet community, like, be so supportive and come around for each other and just, like, talk to each other. And just with all the crap going on in the world all the time, it's just so nice to just sit back. It's so calming for me to like just sit and watch Like, just people be supportive of each other and congratulate each other and happy for each other and showing off their work, and people getting excited about it. Oh, I really like that, like, so much. You know what I mean? So I really enjoy watching it. My kids hate. Are you watching? Are you watching your yarn people again? Is that Juan? Oh, are you watching Russ? Is that Cinnamon Stitches? Like, yes, it's there. It's calming for me. Like I said, you go on and you see all this news and it's so. And it's so hard to get away from it. You go on social media and it's like news, depressed, this is going, and it's just so calming for me to sit and watch Cinnamon Stitches talk about her life, Russ do his lives, and everybody's like, yeah, he's sitting there making a blanket, which is what I should be doing. I should be working on my project. Except for my things. This yarn ball has been problematic. 3 barfs, and now it's not pulling nicely. That's okay. Sometimes it's like this. I haven't had to. At least the barfs have been very easy to untangle because I'm very patient. However, every once in a while, we all know you get that ball where it's like, what happened to this thing? What happened? I spent the other day, oh my God, probably 2 hours trying to untangle my yarn barf. And I'm like, what happened to this poor ball of yarn? What happened to it? Why did, like I pulled it out and it was so intertangled and so bad. And I know some people cut them off. I refuse. I'm too stubborn for that. And sometimes my husband, when he's home, he will definitely, if he's available, he loves to untangle yarn for me. But he was not around at the time, and I spent, like I said, at least 2 hours trying to unbarf this yarn. It was insane. So, and like I said, I know it happens. I know, they're made in these huge factories, just like everything else. And who knows if they just start winding wrong or, whatever. But, that is like, I don't get upset about factory knots too often, unless they're like really close together. But even then, if they're really close together, I'll just cut them out and make my own knot and whatever. But, the serious barf, the ones that take me hours to untangle, those get you. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so yesterday, this part's not about yarn. This part's about mom stuff. So yesterday I had a moment. I'm not gonna lie. So I told you my older son Logan. He went to New York to see Moulin Rouge. They saw it at the Al Hirsch Theater. So, I mean, they sent an itinerary home, and they were like, oh, they're leaving at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to get up there about 11, and then they're going to have some free time, and then at 2 o'clock the show started, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, I guess I'm, in my naivety, was assuming that when they said free time, it was going to be like a group of kids with a teacher going places to sightsee in New York. That's not what they did. Now, keep in mind, my son's 14 in 9th grade. And they basically like pulled up and said like, okay, here's $20 to get some lunch. Bye. Make sure you don't go too far. See you at 2 o'clock. And I was like, oh, so they just kind of dropped you off in New York City by yourselves? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, what did you guys do? He's like, well, somebody said we has to get pizza. So we went and got pizza. And he's like, it was really good. It was like a thin crust with the, he was telling me about it, and he's like, oh, it was really good, you know, because he had never been to New York before. He never had New York style pizza before. And I mean, we have New York style pizza around here, but not New York pizza, you know. And he's like, that was really good. And then we all, you know, it was just me and this other kid and one of my friends. And he's like, well, let's look on our phones, see what's nearby. So we went to a couple stores and just hung out. And then we went back to the theater at 2:00. And I'm like, so you just like hung out in New York City? You're 14. Never been there before. He's like, Mom, it was no big deal. Like, they dropped us off and they were like, go have fun in New York. And I'm like, and I had a mom moment, like afterward. And I wasn't, you know, obviously, I mean, he came home, he had a great time. But like afterward, I'm like, I look at my husband, I'm like, he's going to be fine without us. He's going to be fine without us. Like, they dropped him off in New York City and was like, go, have fun. And he was like, okay. And went to the Disney store and Five Below. And they tried to go to the Lego store, but they didn't have time. So they went back. No big deal. Got pizza. Hung out from 11 to 2 in New York City at 14. He's going to be fine. He doesn't. It was a hard mom moment a little bit. You know, I'm going to be honest with it. Because, like, you know, I'm like, he's only 14. He'll be 15 in July. Like, you know, you think, like, he still needs it. And you're like, and I'm glad. I'm so proud of the responsible child he is becoming. And I should say responsible man he's becoming. I'm beyond proud. I'm beyond proud that my 14-year-old could get dropped off in the middle of New York City and be fine. Be fine for hours. And not need anybody to watch him, and went to the Disney store, you know. I'm so over the moon proud of him. But it's like one of those, like, he was just little. He just needed me, you know, all the time. And, you know, I'm realizing, of course, he's going to 10th grade. He's 3 more years and he's going to be graduating. And he's going to be fine. You know? He's going to be able to go off to wherever college he wants to and thrive. I mean, if they can drop you off at 14 in New York City and you're just like, let's go have fun. I mean, he's going to be fine when he goes to college. I mean, why wouldn't he be? I mean, and I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of that responsible young man that he is, that he has become. I'm over the moon, but it's hard in my mommy heart to know that he's fine. He's going to be fine in life, you know? Like, he may still need me to help with certain stuff, but in general, no, he doesn't need me. He does all this stuff on his own, and he is so responsible, and that was my hard mom moment from yesterday. You know, I keep seeing, and I'm sensitive right now because I keep seeing all these graduation pictures and prom pictures, and I'm like, it's only a couple more years, and he's going to be going to prom, and he's going to be graduating, and then the year after that, Michael is going to graduate and go to prom and go off to college. I mean, like, that's the downside of having kids 1 year apart. I mean, I only have 2 kids 1 year apart. It's going to be like back to back and then poof, gone. Like, you know? Ugh. And I know it's a couple years away yet. I know I still got time. But, like, every time I see these, you know, now that they're both going to be in high school next year, I'm like, it's going to be here before I know it, because they were just in kindergarten. They were just in kindergarten. like a couple years ago, right? Like 2 years ago. I was just sending them off for their first day in kindergarten. No, it's going to be gone before I know it, you know? So, I'm treasuring the time I have with them. And I know they're not going to like go off to college and I'll never see them again. I understand that. It's just, I, and of course not everybody knows. So like when I had my son, now I wasn't like super young. I was 33, I think, or 4 when I had my first son. And I had basically, I had thought I didn't want kids. I decided I didn't want any children, and then I hit 30, and all of a sudden I wanted kids. I don't know. They always talk about biological clock. They always talk about stuff like that. I really didn't want kids, and at 30, I realized I did. Now, I think what happened was, and this is the short version, I wanted to. If I wanted to have kids, I wanted to be able to be there for my kids. I wanted to be a mom, the kind of mom I want to be. And at the time, in my 20s, I was working 2 or 3 jobs constantly, consistently. And, my husband and I, we got together with money trouble between the two of us. I mean, not money trouble, but we were both not in the financially stable positions. Let's put it that way. And we came together and fixed all of that in a short amount of time. Both of us had situations previous to us getting together that caused those financial woes. That's a story for another time. But we got together. We fixed our finances. We both worked 2 or 3 jobs. We fixed all of our financial situation. And at the point when I turned 30, we were in the house. We had bought a house. We had, gone from not being able to, like when we first moved into an apartment together, we didn't even have cable or anything because we couldn't. And not that we couldn't afford it, but we wanted to save that money and fix some of the financial issues we had gotten into because of other people, I should say. Because of bad decisions we made with other people. So, we had gone from that to having enough to put on a down payment for a house. And, things were starting to look so much more stable. And I was starting to realize I could be more the mother that I wanted to be. So, without getting too far into it, when I got pregnant, though, I was working 2 jobs. I was working as in an office at a car dealership, and then I was working part-time as a waitress at a catering place with my dad, who was a cook. So, I decided, well, early on in the pregnancy, I had to stop waitressing because meat smell, and me, we did not get along. No. Oh, I mean, I couldn't, if I caught a whiff of meat, it was like instant nausea, dizziness, lightheadedness. I was so sick. So I had stopped doing that. But then, of course, we had decided I was going to go back to work. We were going to put Logan in daycare after I had him. Well, I looked at my husband one day and I said, we were looking at daycares and trying to pick a daycare to put him in. And I looked at my husband one day and I said, I can't do it. I can't put him in daycare. And he was like, I get it. So I was a stay-at-home mom, but I worked part-time. So what I ended up doing was, like, my husband worked during the day, and then he would come home, we would eat dinner, and then I would go to work. And I would work till 9, 10 o'clock at night, and then I worked weekends. So my husband and I didn't get to see each other very often, but it really worked out for the kids because, I was home with them during the day. He was home with them in the evening on the weekends. They were with us all the time. We did not have them in daycare. And again, I am not judgy. If everybody raise your kids exactly the way you want to raise your kids. I'm only telling you my version of how this worked out. I wanted to be the person to raise my children. And there are some amazing daycares out there. I know there's a lot of people in positions where they want to need to work, especially single parents. I mean, you have to work. There's no other option. But we were in a place in our lives where I could work part-time, you know, and the realization came to me. I was working in a car dealership, in the office, and to be honest with you, what I was going to pay for daycare for him, I would have brought home like less than $100 a week. So I'm working 40 to 60 hours a week for $100, you know, because it was very expensive it's very expensive to put a baby in daycare. And then, of course, it worked out well because, of course, then I got pregnant 3 months after I had Logan with Michael. I mean, and it wouldn't have made sense for me to work with 2 kids in daycare. It would have cost us money to put them in daycare. Cost more than I was making to put the 2 of them in daycare. So, and like I said, I'm not judging. I'm telling you how I raised my kids. I know women have amazing careers and like a lot of women need to work and stuff like that. Again, like I said, it just didn't make sense for us. I was not making enough money to pay for daycare. You know what I mean? Because like it was going to cost, I forget how much. It was like over $600 a week for the 2 kids because they were both infants. They were both babies. And I wasn't making that much, you know what I mean? I made okay money, but not enough that made sense, you know? So that's how we worked it out. And then when the kids went to school, I actually got a job at their school working in the cafeteria until COVID. So I was like really involved in my kids' younger lives, you know? I spent all day, every day with my kids growing up. And sometimes sometimes I would have liked to go to work. Let me tell you, sometimes I envied the people that get to go to work. And because it's not easy. And it's not easy when you're, because I would need to get dinner on the table for like the minute my husband would get home because we would eat fast and then I had to leave for work. So it was not an easy decision. I don't want people to think that like I just sat around and did nothing. I mean, I watched the kids all day, quick made dinner, and then I went to work till 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then, tried to sleep, but then they, of course, were up by 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And it was a lot for my husband, too, because, he's working full time and then comes home and has to, obviously I made him dinner, but like when the kids were little, then he had to feed them because, like Logan took forever to feed when he was a baby. Oh my God. It took me like 45 minutes to an hour sometimes. Food in, food out, food in, food out. So he was in charge of feeding the kids and then bath time. So it was not easy for him. I mean, he came home from work and then spent the whole night taking care of kids too. So it was not easy for either of us, but it was the decision that we made for our family and I do not regret it. I mean, I will never sit and say, I wish I would have spent more time with my kids when they were little because I don't know how I possibly could have spent much more time with them except for evenings and weekends. And again, I don't have the guilt because then they got that alone time with their father, which I think is really important sometimes too. And he really enjoyed, like Saturdays, he would take them, walking to the park or, take them on adventures and things like that. And so it worked out. It was a really good way to raise our kids. But, now that they're getting older, it's like they don't need me anymore. Like they really, I mean, they do sometimes, but we're getting closer and closer and it's hard, I mean, they were rarely ever babysat, and we did not have a lot of people who were like, they don't have grandparents that would offer to take them. Let's put it that way. My father-in-law passed away before either one of them were born. My mother-in-law, we won't even get started on that. And then my dad did watch them a bunch of times for us when we were working. We're both working Saturdays, but then his health failed, and so he did used to watch them in the morning on a Saturday. But my mother's not one to babysit. She never ever once offered to babysit. Not once. Not one time did she ever watch my kids. So, we did not have anybody to watch our kids. So we watched them all the time. I mean, the whole time, like, till they were in their teens, they were only gone overnight, like, once. We went to a concert. Yeah, one time. We went to a concert, and my husband's aunt watched them for us. A couple other times people watched them, like, during the day if we really had something to do, but we did not have consistent babysitters, and we certainly didn't have anybody who was offering to take them. Now I shouldn't say that, because now my husband's aunt, they take them on a trip every summer for a couple days, which is amazing, and they love. But, before that, so we raised our kids like almost 100%. We really did not have anybody that watched our kids for us. So, so it's even harder. Like, they're getting older and they're getting more independent. And I'm like, oh no. It's my mama heart. I'm proud of them and I'm excited to see what they're becoming. But it's hard sometimes. It's hard sometimes seeing them they were just little. They were just little, and now they're taller than my husband and almost as tall as me. So, all right. So I went on a rant. I apologize, but I wanted to I'm gonna slowly get you up to speed in my life and my family and stuff like that. And I will be working on more crochet. I'm working on it. I think it's going to be cute. I will let you know tomorrow whether I had to rip this, because I did. I'll show you before I go. So I did, this top part is like a little bit lacy. And then I wanted to add like a bobble stitch. You can see it. It's right here. Oh, see the bobbles. But now the bobbles made it curl a little bit. So I have to see, now I'm adding some chains in between to try to make it looser, and then I'm going to try to add a few rows and see where I'm not increasing and see if we sort of balance out or if I frigged it up. And if I frigged it up, we all know what that means. Frog, 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 frog. And one of these days I'm going to get good enough to be able to work on this while I talk to you guys. But I don't want to ignore you guys. I want to interact. So that's my problem. I guess if I was working on something a lot more simple, because these are not super simple. A lot of the ones I've been working on are not super simple projects. So let me know in the comments what you guys are working on, what you guys would like to see, any kind of stuff you would like to hear about. I thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really, really, really truly do, from the bottom of my heart, for spending some time with me. I enjoy spending time with you. I enjoy our little interactions here. Hopefully one day I'll get enough subscribers that we can go live and we can actually talk back and forth. And but I'm not there yet, but that's okay. That is okay. I am willing to do these videos and hopefully people find me and people like me and we can start chit-chatting on lives and stuff like that. So, like I said, thank you so much. I hope you have a good day. I hope you do something nice for yourself today. I hope you do something that makes you smile. And I will see you in the morning. Choose love every day, everybody.